The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Happy morning, students. Hope you all are doing good, safe at home. And after the online exam, I think it's been 2 weeks, we haven't met in virtual classes. And I just want to tell you that I'm very happy with the performance because I was not knowing you all, first of all. I was just seeing you at a glance, walking in the corridors, running in the grounds, all those. But still, I'm so happy that some of you were very excited to see me, and some of you were a little bit afraid, not afraid, I would rather say, little bit hesitant to talk to me. But some of you were really not feeling strange, like you were so close, and I could feel that intimacy when you were talking with me. And I can understand that children, you are really good, and all the children you have done really well, but this is not the end, it is just a beginning, because we have lot to achieve in 10th standard. I would say that this online exam is just a small screening for us to be getting practiced with our virtual classes, because as we don't see you personally, this is the only way that we can understand that you are with the syllabus. So please study, not to make the teacher happy, but for your own satisfaction, because it is your need. I would rather say it is our need, because we have to prepare, right? So whatever you are learning, whatever doubts you have, clarify with the teachers, learn more and more, explore more and more, and don't waste too much time on gadgets, right? Though it's a blessing, sometimes it is a curse also, because we get addicted to it. So do not spend so much time on the gadgets, watching the videos or playing games. Anything that you see in the mobile, do watch only for 20 minutes. The next 20 seconds you watch the greenery, and the next 20 times you just blink your eyes so that you get more energy, right? And I want to wish you all the best, children. Keep continuing, have the same spirit throughout the academic year, okay? And let us pray God that we will soon meet each other in the class, in our school, so that we can enjoy our golden jubilee year, okay? Now, as you all know, we have completed the first chapter, and we had children who were giving us the feedback. Now we have Muhammad Anas, who is going to help us in walking through the D block and F block elements. Before getting into D and F, I would do a small recap of S and P block elements for you, right? And as we know, there are 4 blocks, major blocks in a periodic table. Those are S, P, D and F. When we say S, P, D and F, S and P block elements are called as representative elements. In this chapter, we were learning how to find out the group, period and block of the element. Also, we also learned to write the subshell electronic configuration, short form configuration, right? And we also learned the properties of each block elements. Now to begin with, S block elements. S block elements, we know there are 2 groups, first group and second group. First group elements are called as alkali metals. Second group elements are called as alkaline earth metals. And we were also learning the properties, that is, they are metals, they lose electrons, they gain +1 and +2 oxidation state. Now to find the block of an element, we know the last electron to whichever subshell it enters defines the block of the element. And to find the period, the highest shell number will be the period of the element. And then we were also learning groups. As of like S block elements are concerned, the number of electron present in the S subshell, outermost S subshell, will give us the group of the element. Then we went to P block. P block we have right from 13th group to 18th group elements. And we know 17th group elements are called as halogens. They are the most electronegative elements. And 18th group elements are called as zero group elements or noble gas elements, or also called as rare elements. Why they are called as noble gas? Because they have octet configuration and they don't take part in the chemical reaction. And then now we know in P block elements we have solids, liquids, gases, metals, non-metals, conductors, insulators and semiconductors. And when you see ionization energy is more than the S block elements, also electronegativity is more, right? So these are with S and P block elements. Now shall we welcome Muhammad Anas? Now he is ready to share about D block and F block elements. Please welcome him, children.
Hi friends, I am Muhammad Anas Case from 10B. Today I am here before you to discuss about the topic D block elements and F block elements. First, D block elements. D block elements are those in which the last electron is filled in the D subshell in the penultimate shell. These D block elements are also known as transition elements. Now, what are the features or what are the characteristics of D block elements? They are metals, they show variable oxidation state. Now, the question arises that why does the D block elements show variable oxidation states? Because in the case of D block elements, the differences between the energy level of the outermost S subshell and the penultimate D subshell is very less. Hence, under suitable conditions, the outermost D subshell will also take part in chemical reaction. This is why D block elements show variable oxidation state. And the D block elements show colored compounds in the presence of transition metal ions. And D block elements show similar property as groups as well as the period. Now, F block elements. F block elements are those in which they are placed in the bottom of the periodic table in two rows. First row is known as lanthanoids. It starts from the period 6th. And second row is known as actinoids, which starts from the period 7. Now, what are the characteristics of F block elements? They show variable oxidation states. Most of the actinoids are radioactive and they are artificial elements. Uranium, thorium and plutonium are used as fuels in nuclear reactors, and many of them are used as catalysts in petroleum industry. That's all from me, friends. Stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you.
Yes, Muhammad Anas, thank you so much. It was a great participation from your side. In fact, he was the one who was asking me, teacher, can I do your class review? See, like children, when you have the interest, you will come and ask the teacher rather than the teacher asking you, because it is a voluntary activity that you are doing. Okay, so I am expecting more children to come and ask like this, so that everybody gets an opportunity to take part in the session. Okay, now let us get into the next topic. Our next topic for today is gas laws and mole concept. Now when we say gas laws and mole concept, what are gases? Now we have been studying about solid, liquids and gases right from our lower classes. That is, these are the three states of matter. Of course, plasma is the fourth state, but in detail we were studying about solid, liquid and gases. Now when we say the properties of solid, liquid and gases, we know solid possesses a definite shape. Liquid takes the shape of the container. What about gases? Gases has no definite shape and no definite volume. So something that is related to gas is what we are going to see. Now we know we are surrounded with atmosphere. Everywhere we can see gases. Mixture of air. Mixture of gases is what is air. We have oxygen, we have nitrogen, carbon dioxide, right? In our automobiles, we have sulfur dioxide coming out, carbon monoxide coming out. So everywhere we have a role of gases. When you say photosynthesis, yes, you're right. Oxygen, gas gets in, carbon dioxide we give out. So everywhere the gases plays a very important role. So something related to gas is what we are going to see in today's class. So hope you all are ready with the class, children. Shall I begin? Yes. Now second term mole concept is what? Something new for us, which we will see in the next class. Okay. Now we'll see about the properties of gas. It contains numerous minute particles. Yes. Now we know gas molecules when it is present, when you say a balloon or a tire where gas molecules are present inside, there will be numerous. Numerous means you cannot count how many number of particles are present inside. When compared to the total volume of the gas, the real volume of the molecule is very less. See, now imagine I have a balloon in my hand. I have all the gas molecules which are present inside. When I compare to the total volume of the balloon, the volume occupied by the single molecule which is present inside the balloon will be very, very less. So when compared to the total volume, the individual volume of the molecule will be very less. The molecule of a gas in a rapid motion in all directions, they keep on moving here and there. They don't stay in one particular point. Why is that so? Will that happen will the same thing happen in the solid state? No. In solid state, you can see the gas molecules are tightly packed. So what happens? The molecules do not have space to move. But that is not the case with gas molecules. Since they are so randomly placed, they can move in any direction. They have a lot of space to move. Due to random motion, they collide with each other and also with the walls of the container. What happens? They hit each other and they also collide with the walls of the container, which results in the pressure of the gas. So that when you hit something, what happens? A force is exerted. So what happens? That will create a pressure. So that is how pressure is created inside the container. Collisions are perfectly elastic as there is no loss of energy. What do you mean by elastic? When I throw a ball on the wall, it comes back again. When I put a ball down, it bounces back again, right? So the collisions are perfectly elastic. Elastic means it goes, it comes back. When I stretch a rubber band, it expands, again it contracts. But is there any loss of energy? No. No energy is lost, no energy is gained. No attraction between the gas molecules and with the walls of the container. If there is an attraction, imagine this is my wall and this is my gas molecule. If I am going to hit it, if there is going to be an attraction between this and my wall, what happens? It goes and attaches itself. It does not come back. But I told the collisions are elastic. That's why when I hit it, it is coming out. Hit it, coming out. So there is no loss of energy and no attraction between the gas molecule and the wall of the container. So what is the conclusion that we are learning about gas? The energy of the gas molecules are very high. They have a lot of energy. Imagine children, you all are now in my class, right? You are listening to this. Imagine the next period is your PT period. Will you have the same energy what you are having right now when you are in my class? No. What happens? You will be just waiting for the moment the bell rings. Just go on the ground, you forget yourself, you just start running in all directions, playing, kicking, hitting, running, right? So the energy of the molecules will be very high. So like that, the gas molecules, they have very high energy. Distance between the gas molecules is very high. Again, each gas molecules are placed in different places, means they have lot of space between each gas molecule. Between two gas molecules, there is so much space kept. Freedom of movement is very high. Since I have lot of space, I can move wherever I want. That happens to you, right? When you get into a hall where there are only 3 or 4 people, you can go wherever you want, you can sit. But what happens in a classroom where there are 40 children, when you enter, wherever you have little space, you have to adjust yourself. Your freedom of movement is restricted. You cannot move wherever you want. But what happens in case of gas molecules? They can move wherever they want. So the freedom of movement is very, very high. Attractive force is very less. As I told you, the gas molecules do not attract each other. That's why they are able to move. That's why the collisions are elastic. If there is a law of attraction, it will not be an elastic movement. The collision will not be elastic. They will be close to that molecule and they don't come back again. Right? So overall, energy is very high, distance is very high, the freedom of movement is very high, but the attractive force is very, very less. Now we are going to study about 3 different important parameters that is going to help us to study about the various laws of gas. What are those 3 parameters? Volume, temperature and pressure. These 3 plays a very important role when you take a gas molecules. Pressure, volume and temperature. So these are called as variables of the gas. Small parameters that is going to define the property of a gas. Now what is volume? The space occupied by the substance is known as its volume. This we have been studying, right? The space. What do you mean by space? Now I have a bottle. I have put water inside. Whatever volume, space it is occupying, that will be the volume of the substance, right? If it is occupying 1 liter, imagine I put here gas molecules which is in a 1 liter container. So the volume of the gas will be 1 liter. The same thing when I transfer it into a 5 liter, the volume of the gas will be now 5 liter. Will there be any change in number of molecules? No. The number of molecules remains the same. But here I have put it in 1 liter container. The same thing I have put here in 5 liter container. So volume of the gas changes but the number of molecules will not change. If I am going to transfer the same number of molecules in a 5 liter container, the volume will change because the space occupied by the substance is known as its volume. Okay? Now pull the piston of the syringe backwards. You know what is a syringe, right? For injection, needle, all those you use it. Syringe. This is my piston. You can see this side. This is my piston, right? This has got a volume here. And what is this? Is a needle. Now pull the piston of the syringe backwards. Press the piston after closing. Now if I want to enter anything inside, I will just pull the piston. So when I am pulling the piston, what happens? The volume enters. That is my gas molecules, as you air enters into it. Right? Now what happens to the volume of the air inside the syringe if I am going to press the piston? If I am going to press the piston now, what is happening to my volume? Now I am going to give some pressure. So what is happening to my volume? Now this is my volume. So what will happen? This volume will come down. I am not be having the same volume which I was having before. See, I was having say 5 ml of volume, but when I am going to push the piston giving pressure, the volume will come to 3 or 2, which means the volume of the air decreases. Volume of the air decreases. Okay? Volume decreases. What is the reason? Distance between the gas molecules, what will happen? It will be less. As I am giving a pressure, I am pushing the piston from backwards, the molecules tend to come closer, closer, closer. So there was so much distance between the gas molecules, now it has become very, very, very less. What happens to the freedom of movement? As I told you before, since the molecules comes closer, the distance also becomes less. So as the distance becomes less, they don't tend to move as faster as they were moving when there were so much space. As the volume decreases, what happens? There will be less space for the gas molecules to move. So when it is not having enough space, what happens? The freedom of movement also decreases. So this happens only when an external pressure is given, the syringe piston is moved inside, so the original volume of the gas molecules is being reduced. So this causes a decrease in the volume. So what will be the volume of the gas? It is the volume of the container which it occupies. If it is going to be in a 1 liter, it occupies a 1 liter volume. If it is going to be in a 5 liter container, it occupies a 5 liter volume. Right. So next we'll go to pressure of a gas. As I told you, pressure, volume, temperature, all these three are interrelated. Right. When I am going to talk about volume, definitely there is a role of pressure. If I am going to talk about pressure, definitely there is going to be a role for volume. So pressure of a gas, the molecule of a gas you can see which is kept inside a container. So these molecules you can see, as I told you, gas molecules have lot of space between them, so they can move wherever they want. They don't have a restriction. So what is happening here inside, you can see they are just hitting against each other and also with the walls of the container. Now what is the speciality of the movement of the molecules? What is happening inside the container? You can see the molecules are, yes, they are moving here and there. And I told you before, the collisions are perfectly elastic. Now why it is elastic, Lakshmi? Yes, because there is no attractive force between the wall and the molecule. If there is an attraction between the wall and the molecule, it can never come back again. It can stick onto the wall. Okay. Now what about the collision? Collisions are again elastic. They try to hit each other and against the walls of the container. So what is a unit? This you have been studying from your lower classes, right? Force on unit area is nothing but total force exerted on the surface divided by the surface area, which is again pressure. The force which is exerted on one particular area, you call it as a pressure. If I am going to put some force here on my palm, so this is the pressure which I am applying here. So what is pressure? The force which is exerted on one particular area, we call it as a pressure. So when you see here, the molecules are exerting pressure. What they are doing? They go to the wall, they give a force, they hit on the wall and they come back. So that particular, we call it as a pressure. Temperature. Energy gained due to the movement of the molecules is kinetic energy, because we know potential energy is the energy which is at rest, that is static energy. Kinetic energy is something which is on motion, that is movement of the molecules. What happens to the movement of the molecules if the temperature of the gas is increased? Children, this we have been saying from the beginning, that whenever I am going to heat any substance, now we know when I am going to place a water just like that, of course the water molecules will be moving inside. Now imagine if I am going to heat it. What will happen? You can see slowly the water is getting heated up, and as I increase the temperature, it tends to boil. That is, the molecules will tend to escape into the vapor phase. This is what is called as the movement of the molecules. As the molecules are gaining energy in the form of temperature, they try to come out, they try to move at fast, and they try to move out of the surface level. So this is because of the increase in temperature. So what will happen to the energy? Energy will increase. As the temperature increases, the energy of the molecules also increases. So temperature is the average kinetic energy of the molecules in a substance. Any substance I have, if I am going to have molecules inside, those molecules will gain more energy if temperature is increased. So because as temperature increases, the kinetic energy, which means the movement of the gas molecules, increases. Now the relation between volume and pressure. Now you can see there is a figure A, here there is a figure B. In both the figures we have molecules which are kept inside, the number of molecules being the same. The red arrow you can see, that is the pressure. And here you can see I am applying more pressure, which means I am pushing the lid inside. Here it is here on the top, and here it has come down. Now did you observe the picture, children? Now what change can you observe in the volume of the gas inside the cylinder A and B? What is happening to the volume here? This whole thing is my volume in picture A. But in this picture, what is happening to my volume? It has already come down. The volume has decreased. So when I am increasing the pressure, when I am putting more pressure, my volume has decreased. Here there is only less pressure, so more volume. Here there is more pressure and less volume. What about decreasing the pressure? Decreasing means what? Releasing it, coming back to the same position. When I am going to increase, again decrease the pressure, move my piston back, my volume has what happened? My volume has increased. So when I increase the pressure, the volume decreases, and when I decrease the pressure, my volume increases. Is there any change in number of molecules? No, the number of molecules remains the same. The number of molecules do not change in both the container. They have same number of molecules. Only the pressure and the volume changes. What could be the relation between the volume and the pressure? So what did you understand now? Whenever there is an increase in pressure, there is a decrease in volume, and when there is a decrease in pressure, there is an increase in volume, which means they are inversely proportional. Boyle's law. At constant temperature, volume of a definite mass of a gas is inversely proportional to its pressure. The volume of a gas is inversely proportional to its pressure. So in this you can see, when I increase the pressure, my volume decreases, and when I decrease the pressure, my volume increases. So if P is the pressure and V is the volume, then PV will be equal to constant. The product of P and V will be a constant value. So this is very important, children, a definite question. An example will be given to you in your board exam related to volume and pressure, and they'll ask you which law is being stated here. They'll ask you to state the law. You cannot change the words because these are laws given by the scientist. So those laws you cannot change the words. You should write the law, write the expression also, and write what is P and what is V. It's a definite question for the board. I want to repeat it again, right? So don't forget it. Boyle's law is very important. Pressure inversely proportional to its volume. Now can you explain the reason why the size of the air bubbles rising from the bottom of an aquarium increases? Here the bubble size is very small, but as it rises up at the surface level, the size, the volume of the air bubble, actually its size increases. Can you tell me what is the reason? Something related to Boyle's law. See, Boyle's law we were studying, they are inversely proportional. Now tell me, where is the pressure more? Either on the surface level or inside the water? Yes, you are right. It is inside the water. So pressure is less at the bottom and pressure is more in the sea. So pressure less at the surface level, so volume should be more. So size of the air bubbles increases. But when the pressure is more under the sea, what happens? As the pressure increases, volume should decrease. So what happens? Size of the air bubbles decreases. So this is completely related to Boyle's law. As the pressure at the surface level is less, the volume becomes more. As the pressure under the sea is more, the volume becomes less. So this is given by Boyle's law. With this we will be stopping for today's topic. It is volume and temperature. Now you can see there is a bottle which has got a nozzle here, right? And then you are going to put a small refill inside and dip this arrangement in lukewarm water. Fill a drop of ink into the lower end of the refill which you are going to, there is a refill. You know what's a refill? Reynolds, Rotamac and all, you have a refill inside, right? When it does not work, what we do? Right? So you just blow air inside. So that refill, you are going to put it here inside the glass bottle with a small drop of ink which is dipped into the lukewarm water. So what is happening now? What should happen actually? When I am dipping into the hot water, the ink will rise up. What is that method called as? You have been studied, children? Yes. In thermometer, why it is rising up? Mercury is there at the bottom of the thermometer. But what happens when you keep inside, it just rises up, you can see, right? It is nothing but capillary rise. So you can see the ink slowly rising up, right? What did you observe on cooling? Now when it is kept in hot water, it is actually rises, ink is coming up. The same thing when I put it in cool water, the ink slowly drops down. What can you infer about the relation between volume and temperature? As the volume increases, temperature also increases. As the volume decreases, temperature also decreases. When it's kept in hot water, ink rises up taking so much volume. When I am cooling the water, when temperature decreases, it drops down, where we decrease in the volume. Okay. So experiments have shown, see this is my volume, this is my temperature. You can see the division of V by T is equal to 2. When I divide my volume with temperature in each column, I am getting the same answer 2, 2, 2. Different experiments were done taking different volume, measuring at different temperature, but when I am going to take the ratio of V by T, I am getting a constant volume. That is called as Charles' law. What is Charles' law saying? At constant pressure. Now pressure is constant here. In Boyle's law, temperature was constant. In Charles' law, pressure is constant. The volume of a definite mass of a gas is directly proportional to temperature in Kelvin scale. Boyle's law, pressure is inversely proportional to volume. Charles' law, temperature is directly proportional to volume. You increase the temperature, increase in volume. Decrease the temperature, decrease in volume. So Charles' law is nothing but V is proportional to T, constant pressure, and number of molecules also do not change. So V is the volume, T is the temperature, V by T is constant. So this law is also very important. As of Boyle's law and Charles' law, you will be given certain examples to find out the law and write the statement and write the expression. Also, you may get problems with different values given and ask you to find out the ratio or the product of the law. So, hope children, you are able to understand the things that we studied today. We studied about properties of gas molecules. We studied what is volume of a gas, pressure of a gas, temperature of a gas. Also, we studied the relation between pressure and volume and temperature and volume. That is Boyle's law and Charles' law. So next class, let me see who is going to give a small review about the properties of the gas and the laws. Okay, so till then, watch the class properly, write out the expressions, whatever the laws is being given in the slides, and if you have any doubt, please ask me. Okay, now when you are writing in the file, you can write the properties of the gas, all those statements which are very important. You can write the definition for what is volume, temperature and pressure. Also, you should write these two laws with their statement and expression. So that is for today. Take care, stay home, stay safe. Until then, see you in the next class. Bye children.